Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Mini Mirror Show. This is a podcast where you'll get short episodes about mainly emotions right now, but we'll also be getting into life philosophy and spirituality. I'm your host, Amira Sookram, and I'm the author of the Guilt Free Goals book. I am also a feelings-based yoga teacher and just in general love to live my life in a cyclical way. So today's episode is all going to be about compassionate check-ins. So, a compassionate check in to me is being able to be a friend to yourself. And that doesn't mean like having to be like your friends are to you, but actually being a real, true best friend and great friend towards yourself. A big part of this is more to do with being able to compassionately check in with yourself to understand how you're feeling and also to get in touch with your needs, wants, and desires in life. I've said this before, and I want to remind anyone who hasn't heard me say this again that we come to points in our lives where we have to check in with how we're feeling because otherwise we would just be going down this path where we don't actually know where we're going, or we don't like the direction we're going in, and we're just doing it just because we're already on the path. We don't see a way out. We don't see any ways that we can shift our path, so we just continue on. In the line of work that I do with getting in touch with your feelings and understanding that you're going to be living your life in a way that is feelings based, I want to remind you that your feelings can guide you towards your soul aligned path in this lifetime. So, if you are on a path that you feel frustrated on, you're sad about, you feel depressed, you are angry about, you feel fearful about, these might be indicators that you need to make a change. So, with our friends, we often feel this like guilt or a nagging feeling when we haven't reached out to a friend in a while. Maybe you're not like that, but definitely if you are an empathetic person and you love your friends and you want to be a part of their lives, we feel this like this thing sitting on our shoulder, like, oh, I have to check in with so and so. I have to ask them how they are. How is that job going for them? How is that new relationship going for them? Like, there's something sitting there with this, like, almost guilt of like, I need to check in with this person because I haven't done it in a while. Being a friend to yourself is understanding that you also need to do those things for you. You also need to have that guilt on your back. Maybe not like that, but you know what I mean? Like, we also need that feeling of like, hey, I haven't sat with myself in a while. I haven't asked myself how I'm feeling. And I have some needs that are going unmet in my life that I actually need to take action and meet these needs. Otherwise, my feelings are going to spill out onto unexpected people. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be mad at the cashier because they messed up my order. I don't want to, be short with my mom when she's trying to talk to me about something. I want to be able to listen to that friend when they're having a hard time. And if I'm unable to do that, it's because I have needs that I need to meet for myself. I honestly felt this yesterday where I was talking to somebody I work with and they were sharing a very emotional thing with me. And I just didn't have the space in my day to get that information in an unexpected way. And I really like just sat with it after. And I was like, I really wish I had the emotional capacity to sit with them just for even a few minutes longer and hold space for their pain. And not everyone has to do this, but they are somebody who has just always been kind to me. And I would have rather have the capacity to sit with their pain and sit with their emotions. And if they needed to cry, allow them to cry, just so that they know that, hey, it's okay for you to talk to me about these things. When we have our weekly work meeting, if you need to share something that you are grieving, if you need to share what you're feeling, I'm here to listen. And this is outside of my feelings work. This is like for another workplace. But I still want to stand in that integrity and those values that I have outside of what I'm doing. Because to me, being able to show up in different areas of my life, still standing in this integrity, is a value that I would like to have. So I did exactly this check in with myself, and I sat with that feeling of guilt of not being able to hold space and recognized where I had other needs that I need to meet before I can hold that space for somebody. So even though I had this guilt about not checking in, I also recognized and honored within myself that, hey, I really did not have the capacity to check in. I did the best that I could. I forgive myself for not showing up in the way that I would like to, but I know where my ideal self is and I know where I currently am, and I'm going to take the steps to bridge that gap. So there's this three-step process that I like to teach about how we can get in touch with our feelings and meet our own needs. So the first step is to ask myself or ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? So you can use the feelings wheel and just check in. How are you feeling right now? Take a moment right here, pause the video or pause the podcast. If you are listening, actually, you can go to my Instagram page and check out the feelings wheel, or you can go to my website and sign up for flow notes. I have a feelings wheel that I send out every single month where you can get in touch with yourself and reflect on how you felt for the past month. So, the second step after you identify how you feel is that you ask yourself, what do I need? So yesterday I felt this idea of not being able to sit in that meeting for longer, and I felt like I've just been exhausted with the amount of work that I've had to do because I'm also traveling soon. So estoy cansada, and I need to take that moment with myself to really fill my own cup up. I need to do things that I enjoy, and I need to sleep deeply. So, because I'm tired, I identified things that I need in my life to help myself feel alive again. So, after I identified that I'm tired and that I need to do things I enjoy and I need to sleep deeply, I actively did something I enjoyed last night. So, after I identified that I was tired, I said, hey, I need loud music. Like, I need to listen to loud music. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to move my energy and move my body. I also felt guilty about not showing up to finish a yoga challenge that I said I would do. And I realized that I am actually enjoying just choosing when to show up for that challenge and putting in other activities so that I can get moving in other ways. So I've been hiking, I've gone for walks, I've danced, and I've just moved my body in a different way. So, how am I feeling? What do I need? And the third step is, when am I going to give myself what I need? Last night, I would have loved to practice yoga, but I really needed the loud music. So instead of doing my yoga practice, I took that time. I stayed up a little later and then I danced and I sang and I listened to Bad Bunny really loudly and other artists that I love. And then I took a shower, I laid in bed and I relaxed and I slept so deeply after that. And I actually woke up today feeling much more rested than I have in days. So, this three-step compassionate check in is really important for getting in touch with your feelings and then understanding that our feelings are indicating something to us about what our needs and desires are. And then, after you get in touch with your needs and desires, you make a plan to actually meet those needs and desires. And if you're sitting there like, hey, I can't meet these needs and desires for myself, I want to remind you that we can think outside the box and we can find ways to meet our needs, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a later episode. But for right now, that is the life pondering question that I'm leaving you with. We're building onto this emotional literacy by understanding our feelings and then also seeing what we need in the moment and then taking action to give ourselves what we need. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for being here. If you are here, please like, share, subscribe, engage with my content on TikTok or Instagram. It really helps out so much. And if you are loving the podcast and you want to support my work in any way, you can always join as a member on Patreon, or I'll be setting up subscriptions on TikTok so that you can just get some more benefits and also support what I do and my content. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for you. See you next week. Bye.